What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and we actually have some good news about Britney Spears today. A lot of people's main concern with her getting married to Sam was there a prenup involved? Did she make Sam sign a prenup? And apparently, from what sources are saying that are close to Britney Spears, although I'm not sure who's really close to Britney Spears, they're saying that she indeed made Sam sign a prenup. Or better yet, Britney's team made Sam sign a prenup. So if you thought that Sam was just going to marry her and divorce her in a couple of months and take a lot of money, well, you don't have to worry anymore. Personally, I never thought that would be the case. I always believed that Sam is in this for the long haul. And what I mean by that is that Sam is in it for the long con. I believe Sam has so much more to gain from sticking around and milking this situation dry than he does making himself public enemy number one and running off with some of her money after a few months. And it's not even clear that this prenup even happened. We don't see the prenup. It's just sources in Hollywood and in the mainstream media are reporting that it supposedly happened. Now, I'm not saying that I believe that it didn't happen. I'm just saying, we don't know what's going on here. However, with the prenup, it protects Britney's fortune. Meaning it protects the money that Britney came into the marriage with. They're reporting that Britney's worth around $60 million. So that money will be protected. However, whatever money is made by her going forward, that money is not protected. And Britney has a high earning potential. Britney Spears can make who knows how much money if she wanted to. Britney Spears could announce a tour tomorrow and put out a new clothing line and make another $60 million. And that $60 million would not be protected under this prenup. So Sam knows that going forward. And you have to understand, over the past couple of years, or the past year or so, it's been one of Britney's best years in years. She's made a lot of money from this free Britney movement, from the pregnancy, which I don't think was real, from the miscarriage that I don't think was real, and from this wedding, she has made a lot of money because she's a musician and her streams and her music downloads go up. More people were downloading her music during the Free Britney movement than they had in the years prior. So when you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of things, you have to follow the paper trail. And that's why I say I have some concerns about this whole Free Britney movement. Because in reality, it's made a lot of people, including Britney, a lot of money. Now, I don't hold that against Britney, but I can't help but wonder if there's people behind the scenes pulling the strings, and they're using these attention-grabbing events with Britney to just make more money. Like Britney, no one's really downloading her music right now. She's not really doing anything. Okay, let's start this Free Britney movement. Now she's getting all of these downloads. Hey, let's announce Britney's pregnant. Now she's getting all of these downloads. Hey, let's announce a miscarriage. Now she's getting all these downloads. Hey, let's have this random wedding, on the side of her house spontaneously. Now she's getting all of these downloads. So the reality is all of these events, they're raking in a lot of money. Regardless if it's just Britney sitting at home doing nothing, more people are downloading her music during these times. So there's a lot of money coming in. So when you follow the paper trail, it looks like there could be some inorganicness to the Free Britney movement. And that doesn't mean like everyone involved is inorganic or they're in it for money. Obviously not. Most of these people involved don't see a dime. They're just random people sitting at home who are Britney fans. But the people who are really driving this going forward, you don't really know who it is. And it could have been for money. So I feel like there could have been some inorganicness there. And that's something to tackle in a different video. But at the very least, we could all rest assured that there is supposedly a prenup put in place. But like I said, I feel like I never felt like Sam was just going to marry her and run off after a couple of months and get all this money. Sam knows where his bread and butter is. Sam has it really good. Britney doesn't appear like the type of person that likes to go out much. Either she's not allowed to or she doesn't want to. Sam can basically live a double life. While Britney's spinning around in circles in her living room, Sam could be out doing him, comes back to this nice mansion. He comes back to Britney Spears. That's nothing to, ignore. Like, he's got Britney Spears. And it's not like, oh, Sam could just, that's a nice woman there. You know what I'm saying? Like, a beautiful woman, regardless of, she's going through some things, but like, dude could go do whatever he wants and come home to a multi-million-dollar mansion that he didn't drop a dime on and go to bed with Britney Spears. Sam's got the best of both worlds here. And Sam realizes that Sam isn't known for anything other than being Britney Spears' now husband. No one cares about Sam from his random TV show appearances. No one cares about Sam in whatever movie he's been in. No one cares about any of that. The only reason anybody pays attention to who even Sam is because he's tied to Britney. And being tied to Britney could bring Sam way more money than not being tied to Britney. So Sam's basically making a career for himself off of being the guy who's tied to Britney Spears right now. So why would he run away? Why would he run away and try to get a little settlement of her money, look like a bad guy when he could stick around? He could go out and do whatever the hell he wants to do because Britney Spears isn't in the right state of mind to follow him around and figure out what's going on. He could get just as much money as he wants out of Britney Spears while being in the marriage. Milk her dry. You know what I'm saying? So the prenup being there, it doesn't really make anything better because I don't ever feel like if Sam is this con artist, that he was ever in it for those reasons. Yeah, I feel like he's flaky. I don't trust him, but I never felt like, oh, he's just going to try to run off with a little bit of money after a few months. I felt like he's deeply entrenched in the situation, and he knows that. He's been playing the long game. It's not like she met this guy a couple of weeks ago. They've been talking for years. And like I said, Sam knows where his bread is buttered. So I don't think that this relationship will last until the end of time. But I think Sam knows he can get much more out of this situation by sticking around. Now, talking about sticking around, today, Britney Spears is moving into a new home. Yep, she just bought a new house for almost $12 million. Almost $12 million. It rang up around, I think, $11.5 million. And it is a nice house. Nice house. Odd timing, but a very beautiful home. And it's actually right down the street from Kevin Federline. And I don't know how Kevin feels about it. He did release a statement. Kevin said that he was surprised that out of all the neighborhoods that Britney could afford, she decided to move into his. But he says as long as his peace and his tranquility are invaded as a result, more power to her. So he's supporting this move, but he's like, I don't know why she chose here, and hopefully my peace and tranquility isn't bothered. Now, I don't feel like Sam's the type of guy to bother Kevin Federline, but who knows, if Britney bothers him. I'm sure she probably does a little bit. Whatever. But this move, it makes me happy because it looks like it's a step forward for Britney getting away from all of this stuff that she was going through. At least we can view it like this. I'm hoping that this home doesn't become her new prison. I'm hoping she doesn't leave one prison just to go and imprison herself into another home. You know what I mean? Because like I stated on past videos and even the past video I made about Britney, I feel like she's a prisoner in her own home. Like she's never allowed to go anywhere or do anything. And I'm hoping that that's part of the past and that this will open up a new chapter of her life going forward. She just got married, new home, leave all of that stuff in the past and hopefully do better going forward. That's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. Now, we did just say that Britney was worth $60 million, right? At least that's what has been reported at the time they were reporting this prenup that was supposedly signed. Well, if Britney's worth $60 million and she just spent $12 million on a new home, that's a big chunk out of her money. And money goes quick. And I just want to know whose idea it was to buy this new home. And we're not sure if she's going to sell the old home or what. Now, the fact that it's in Kevin Federline's neighborhood, that makes me think that it would have been a choice by Britney. Hopefully, it's a decision to get closer to her kids, because that's what she should really be worried about here. You know, we could say whatever we want to say. Everybody's entitled to live their life the way they want to live it. The fact is, when you have kids, you're no longer just living life for yourself. You're now living your life for your kids as well. And I'm hoping that Britney does less naked photo shoots on Instagram and more activities with her sons. And buying this home closer to her sons, that's a good step going forward. And hopefully it makes her feel more secure, more comfortable, that her own flesh and blood, who will love her forever. You know, your kids are always going to love you. You could have this, you know, these issues with your sister, your mother, or what have you. That's okay. But your kids are always going to have a connection to you. And Britney, despite going through what she's been through with her parents, I'm sure she still has some sort of a connection, even though it's been damaged so much. So Britney has this, I don't think Britney has much support around her, so hopefully her being close to her kids will bring that support. If you know what I mean, if you know what I'm trying to say here. But all in all, I feel like this is the best Britney news that we've gotten in a while. It doesn't change any way that I feel about everything that I've been talking about so far. Like, I don't feel like this means Britney's any freer than before. I mean, obviously Britney's not the one that's sitting down making the decisions to actually do all of this stuff necessarily. I'm sure there's other people involved in these situations. I'm sure Sam's involved with these situations. I don't think Britney is in the mental state right now to actually buy this home on her own. Of course, it's her team doing it for her, but hopefully this was at least a decision made on her behalf and not someone else's. And I'm hoping that this old home that served as a prison that we've seen her just dancing in and doing all the psychotic stuff in, I'm hoping that house is just gone. I hope she just gets rid of it and just opens up a new chapter going forward. And I mean, that would be, I guess, the best case scenario. Now, when you go to her Instagram account, it's still the same weird stuff. You know, just yesterday, right before, I guess, moving into this new home, she posted the same picture like 3 times in a row with her like holding her face, kind of like the Home Alone picture. I'm not sure what the meaning of this is. It definitely comes across as really weird. So while there's supposedly prenups getting signed and she's buying these new homes, she's still, you know, basically demonstrating some really questionable behavior here. But at the very least, like I said, it's some good news. It's some good news. It's not the best news we could ever hope for, but it's a step in the right direction. And I feel like that's how we should all view it. Hopefully her moving will be like the stepping stool she needs to get out of whatever she's been sunken into. You know, it's almost like she's been in a sunken place while she's in this living room, while she's in this home. And maybe after all of these years of just craziness happening there, her last memory there will be her getting married. And now she goes to this new home. And like I said, opens up a new chapter going forward. My fingers are crossed for that. Do I feel that like that's what's going to happen? Not necessarily, if you want me to be honest. But that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that I don't have to make any more Britney videos. You know, I don't have a vested interest in just sitting here and making Britney Spears videos. I could be talking about a number of other things happening in the world. The reason I've been talking about Britney, the reason I've been covering this story is because I've been concerned. And because everyone else is too chicken shit to just acknowledge that she's obviously going through some mental issues, and you can tell from her social media. So I have no vested interest in her having a bad life, or in her having a psychotic breakdown, or in her doing anything, you know, odd and crazy and weird. I hope that she lives her best life going forward, and I hope that I don't have to cover this story going forward. When I see red flags and when I see things that need to be called out, I will call it out. And I still have one more video at the very least that I do want to cover about a lot of the artwork and a lot of the subliminal messages that you could break down from her Instagram profile. But I'm hoping that this is the happily ever after. You know, she got married, she got a new home. Hopefully everything is just, you know, great going forward. But only time will tell. But I want to know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you on the next video.